What is up, YouTube? KM888 here with my updated deck profile of my Pendulum Magicians. Post-Savage Strike, as you can see by the Borrowload Savage Dragon. I've got one, I'm happy, I'm ecstatic. I love the card in test hands. It's amazing. So, before the deck profile, I'm not gonna say too much. It's my updated build. It will have some changes, and I will probably explain a couple of things, but I'm gonna try and go over this deck profile a bit faster because, well, people like that, so yeah. First things first, Mythical Beast Engine, triple Mythical Beast Master Cerberus. Card is still great, even though Thunder Dragons exist and will probably be more prominent, I'm not cutting it out. One Mythical Beast Jackal King, and one Mythical Beast Basilisk. Now, I am not playing Pot of Desires in this build, because it's a build orientated in summoning Azathoth during the opponent's turn, and if you use the Desires and you banish the Rank Up Magic, the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic card, you're definitely going to not be able to summon that Azathoth, and that's actually the most important one. I've been doing test hands with Pot of Desires, and 9 out of 10 I didn't like it. Of course, in real life it could be different because you'd have no other options, blah blah blah, all that shit. But in this kind of build, I play 42 cards, I really do not like Desires. I have way too many one-offs and I always banish what I need, so yeah. In this way, I haven't bricked that many times, like 2 in 50 opening hands, and I really like the build as it is. One Basilisk, it helps the deck turbo out sometimes, and it's really weird how it works, but it definitely works, which is amazing. Triple Darkworm, along with double Gate Zero. Still like the second Gate Zero. If you have one in your opening hand, you can still search. Getting the plus is really important, I think. Also, it's good in grind games. Just run 2. Even though I'm not running Desires. I'm playing double Curtain Raiser. I think having 2 is enough. The third one is definitely not needed, especially not in my build. I have a couple of extra ways to get the Darkworm into the graveyard, so it kind of bricks with the Darkworm, so it's just there as an extra extender. Extra turbo card. Triple Chronograph, card is busted in this build. It's amazing. I mean, Time Gazer Magician, I just love having the Chronograph. It's one of the better cards. Now for the Magician lineup, I am running 12 Magicians, I believe. And I think all 12 of them are important. And yeah, I'll explain it going on along. Triple Harmonizing, this is the best one, of course, mandatory. Triple Wisdom Eye, I've been playing it at 2 for a while, but yeah, it was just too important eventually, and now with the new Time Thief, you don't need as many dark monsters in the deck, so Wisdom Eye is just as good. So yeah, back to 3. For level 7s, Dragon Pit and Janke, I often use both in the same kind of turn. If you have Pendulum Call, I often go for Dragon Pit instead of Black Fang, because they can't get popped anyway, and this card will protect you from back row the next turn just by discarding. So Dragon Pit might be more important there, and the Janke Magician is just to be summoned. I mean, it's a 2/5 dark monster which comes into clutch later in deck profile, and it's a level 7, which is important. So one Oath Dragon, I'm running one of like each Magician. That's another reason why Desires is bad. If you banish the wrong Magicians, you don't have any left. Oath Dragon is, I go into it every game, so. Black Fang and Purple Poison. I really like these two because of the utility, but at 1 they're fine. And one White Wing Magician. Don't stop the video, I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, White Wing, this isn't standard at all. Get out. get off this channel. No, White Wing is good in this build. It seems kind of weird, but when I have a Harmonizing already, I often send this with Electromite, just so I can add it back for a normal summon, if I haven't normal summoned yet. It's a tuner, it's a Magician, you can search with Pendulum Call, you can bring it out with Harmonizing from the deck if you already have 2 level 7s. It's just another way to get Borrowload Savage Dragon on the field as a level 4 level 4 tuner monster. So it's actually really important to run one, and I think after seeing like all the level 4 tuners, I think I know a bit of the game already. This is the best because you have several ways to search it out, so yeah. That's it for all the Pendulum monsters. I am not playing the Zephyra engine anymore because the Borreload Savage Dragon actually makes you have an Omni Negate anyway. And running the 2 more Zephyra cards is actually helping you in bricking. So yeah, I took out the 2 bricks, the 2 possible chances to brick, and I just added more consistency. So at this point the deck is actually running really good. But no Zephyra engine anymore. It is possible if you want to bump up the deck to still play the Zephyra engine. At that point you can look at my combos on beforehand. So for other monsters I am playing the 1 Destrudo, 1 Phantom Knight of Ancient Cloak, and 1 Phantom Knight of Silent Boots. Now these are actually imperative for my combos. The Destrudo often makes Savage Dragon or another level 7 synchro. I know you guys might say now like, KM, Borreload Savage Dragon is a level 8, you can't make it with the Destrudo. No, I can. Towards the end of the combo, most people know, I'm summoning the Silent Boots, and I have the level 4 trap card, the Shade Burgundy. So if you use the Destrudo on the Silent Boots, it becomes a level 4, and then together with the trap you can make Borreload Savage Dragon. It'll be in my combos after this video, so in the next videos you'll definitely see it. So it's another way to make Borreload Savage, but the card is Savage, so you definitely want that. For more extender cards, Double Dragon Shrine, the 1 Foolish Burial. They're imperative for the Destrudo. Like if you have a way to get Darkroom to graveyard, this will get you to your Destrudo. And I'm also playing 1 Dragon Ravine. I really like the cards. It's weird to run it, but if you have this along with Destrudo or Darkworm, it's like Exodia as well. So I mean, you get the 2 best cards of the deck into the graveyard, and you can just combo off from there. So it's really awesome. I'm looking for a secret one, so in the future you might see that I've got one, and then I'm happy. So yeah. For the PK cards, I'm still running the 1 Phantom Knights Rank Up Magic Launch. It's needed to make Azathoth, nothing more. The 1 Phantom Knights of Shade Burgundy, and the 1 Phantom Knights Fogblade. Now the reason I'm running 3 is because if you draw 1, you can still do your entire combo with the PK link and actually get all 3, and then the Phantom Knights Fogblade is just an additional negate. If you open any of the monsters, you can still do your things. Like these 2, the Rank Up Magic and the Shade Burgundy, actually their name is the Phantom Knight, so you can also surge them with the Cloak. So there's no actual way of bricking with these if you open 1 of the 5. Like if you open 2 or 3, then you're like fucked. But the chances of opening 2 of a 5-off is actually 10% in a 42 card deck, so it's not going to happen that many times to open 2 of these. So, and even then it's not even the worst, I think. Like if you open Rank Up Magic Launch, you don't actually need to go into your PK engine, so yeah. And then for the final 4 cards of the deck, since I'm running 42, triple Pendulum Call, because it's one of the most important cards of the deck, alongside 1 Duelist Alliance. I'm only playing 1 because I don't want to brick on 2, and I'm only having the Pendulum Call as a target, so I think 1 Duelist Alliance is okay. I also don't want to see it that much because Thunder Dragons is the thing, so running 1, hopefully I don't see it against Thunder Dragons that way, and sometimes I'll see it against other decks, so... the thing is, I just wanted the 4th Pendulum Call. I don't need 5, I think. 4 is enough. So, yeah. That's it for the main deck. 42 cards, as I said. Test hands will be coming later, like all the other days of this week. I'm going to try and post test hands with this deck, so you can just see how it works. Now going into the extra deck. For Synchros, I'm playing the Borreload Savage Dragon, FA Dawn Dragsta, and Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. I still think these are the 3 best ones right now. Borreload Savage is an Omni Negate, you need that in the deck, it's crazy. FA Dawn Dragsta negates spells and traps, which is cool because you're going with the Azathoth play. And Allies Meteor Burst Dragon is just there in case you need it to make your Vortex. Like, you don't always need your Vortex, but it's another way to get it, and that's actually kind of nice. The only reason it's actually still in the deck, because, well, I can make Borreload Savage Dragon as well if I can't make Vortex, is to have it against Altergeist and Sky Striker and Burning Abyss, because if you have this on the field, their effects aren't going to activate during the battle phase, which is pretty good. It's actually a good meta card as well, on top of being able to turbo out your Vortex Dragon. So I still think Meteor Burst is worth it. Speaking of Vortex, the one Vortex as a fusion, alongside the Allies Absolute Dragon, card is still nuts. I think you have to play it. For the rest of the X seats, one Outer Entity Azathoth, along with the Time Thief Redoer. I think this is a better option in place of the Evil Swarm Thanatos. Sure, you can play the Thanatos because it's higher rarity, stuff like that, and it's all the same because you only need it for the rank up. But imagine having to side out the PK engine because it's not a monster-based deck like against Sky Strikers. You don't really need the Azathoth play that much. Sure, it stops Kagari, it stops Ray, but you don't have to go into that to stop them. You can just go into other things. And at that point, the Time Thief Redoer is still good, because if you steal their top card and you make it with a monster, a trap, and, well, their top card is probably going to be a spell, you have all three, and you can just use its effect to bounce 2 cards of their field and draw a card at the same time. So the Time Thief Redoer is still a crazy card against some decks. Also, it's generic, so you can make it with 82 monsters. They don't need to be dark. Still playing the Tornado Dragon. I think the card is important. It's another semi-spell and trap negator, because you can just pop them. It doesn't work against normal spells, of course, but like multi-roll, field spells, it's really important. And the final Exceed is Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion. I love the card. It's in here because it gives me so much OTK potential. I just love the card. It's an amazing one. Also, it's a dark 2500 attack. It's going to be irrelevant. For links, the one Heavy Malphos Electromite. Have to play that, of course. Underclock Taker for the PK package with the Phantom Knight of Rusty Bardish. Deco Talker, as you've seen in my combo videos, I make this all the time. It's a great card against Altergeist, it's great against Sky Striker. It's just a good card in general. Nightmare Unicorn, because I still make this against Thunder Dragon a lot, and it's just a generic out to anything. The card is amazing. And then the final one, Boral Sword Dragon for the OTKs. I think my extra deck is pretty packed. The Meteor Burst could be a card to remove. And, like, really maybe the Unicorn, but I like it a lot in the deck. It's generic removal, so yeah. Going from that standpoint, I don't think you should be removing it. I'm also going to show you guys my side deck right now. To start off with Borreload Dragon and Abyss Dweller. I had 2 spots left, and I felt that these 2 would actually come in handy against certain matchups. Borreload is really important against Thunder Dragons, so I could bring it in over other cards. And then there's the Abyss Dweller, which is just a blowout against things like Burning Abyss, because no graveyard effects. Also, like against Necros, if I can go first, the Dweller is really important because they can't use the Zaborg, the Mega Monarch, to get their +6 out of that. So I think these 2 are really imperative to play. You have to. I'm playing 2 Jizukiru, the Star Destroying Kaiju. As you guys know, I've already explained the combo that you do against Sky Striker. If you have this, you just go Deco Talker, Dark Rebellion, and then you have exactly OTK, even if they have 1 Widow Anchor. But in general, I'm not really sure if I should still side these, because the anti-kaiju came out, and a lot of players like Sky Striker, they know that kaijus work against them, so they're siding in the anti-kaiju. But against Pendulum, that's not that common to run kaiju, so it's kind of a debate in my head whether to run these or impermanences. because I also need these against Thunder Dragons, just to turn off the Titan. I don't really like Titan, but it's not that big of a problem, but just tributing over it actually solves any problem that I have with that card, so yeah. For now, double Jizukiru. They could turn into impermanences with maybe one of these two, like the Dweller, if I don't seem to need it. But for now, double Jizukiru. For the rest, triple Denko Sekka, Sky Striker, Altergeist, True Draco, Paleo, anything back row related. I like them. Red Reboot, especially for going second against Altergeist, card is busted. It's also really good because things like evenly matched can be negated, so it's good. And then the final 5 cards is actually new because of the ban list. I am running triple Eradicator Epidemic Virus alongside double Trap Trick. It's 5 cards just to get to Eradicator, but in an opening hand where you're going first, as I explained earlier on, you have a 42 card deck, you have a 49% chance to open one, and only a 10% chance to brick with it. So I'm happy to run this. It's good against Sky Striker, against Altergeist, and it's just up their place. So that's it for the side deck. I hope you guys liked it. Tomorrow and the day after, just look out for test hand videos. For now, KM888 out.